Hey, this is Merritt from ASG Unlimited. We're proud to announce that we are now partnering with JL Media today. ASG Unlimited was established in 2004. ASG Unlimited provides brand consistency across all media types. In addition to signage, ASG Unlimited also offers logo apparel, promotional items, exhibits, displays, and vehicle graphics, awning, and a full-service install and repair team for all our product lines. With our graphic design department, ASG Unlimited works directly with our clients to develop their ideal image or update their current marketing, all to ensure brand identity and image across all media types and marketing material. ASG Unlimited is located at 3747 South Meridian Street, Indianapolis, Indiana 46217. Call Merritt at 317-786-SIGN. That's 317-786-7446. We can't wait to help you with all your design, signs, and marketing solutions.
Making your way in the world today takes everything you've got.
Good evening and welcome to another episode of Indie Brew Battle. My name is Brian. I will be one of your hosts tonight, and I'm very happy to announce that we are at TwoDEEP Brewing Company down at 714 North Capitol Avenue, right downtown off the Cultural Trail. And I am going to say right off the bat, guys, I love this brewery. I really do. Before we get into that, let's go ahead and introduce ourselves. We will start with Mr. Jordan.
Hello, Jordan here again. Happy to be here. Little guilty. I have not been to TwoDEEP yet, and I work right down the street, so I'm happy to be here. Pretty much marketing professional by day, and then work at a brewery by night and weekends, and usually you can find me at breweries drinking beer, so enthusiast, I guess.
Hi guys, it's Lola Levacious. I'm with Angel Burlesque and Raw Natural Born Artist, and now with WOIA, Women of Indianapolis Arts, and I love craft beer, and so this is a really great place. I'm excited to try the different samples.
And this is Lindsay Love. I am a CrossFit trainer, personal trainer, and also a pole dance instructor. So I've got multiple different talents for that, and then I actually do have an adult grown-up job as well that I work up at Butler University. But full disclosure, Indy is my first exposure to craft beer. So for the past year that I've been here, I've been very excited to get further into it, and all these breweries are really going to make it very difficult to eventually leave.
My name is Joe Roach. I work for American Art Clay Company, and my connection to beer is, I'm a beer lover, but a lot of the people that we work with in the industry, a lot of the customers and, the professionals actually drink a lot of beer at their national conventions, and so, that has just fueled my beer love. So, should I go ahead and mention it, Brian, the shirts?
Let's do it, brother.
We actually have some shirts that were donated by American Art Clay Company, and basically the Brickyard Ceramics and Crafts store in Indianapolis here. The address is 6060 Guyan Road. I work for Amico, American Art Clay Company, and the company store that is basically our local distributor. They sell clay, glaze, potter's wheels, kilns, brushes, slip, molds, anything for the ceramic arts. They also sell things for the glass, people who dabble in glass, clock kits and light kits and things like that. They have open studio Tuesday nights. There's a gallery opening coming up in November 4th. Basically, the shirts we brought today, they are, what's it say, Ruby Rub and Buff.
It's Ruby Rub and Buff. I'm assuming ruby is the tone or the color that you can buff these out with. And I guess you basically just rub them on to whatever, like if you want to make something look metallic that's wood, you just rub on whatever it is. And I just love these shirts. They're brown and orange, a little bit of cream in there. Lots of puns.
Mention the little pun there. Go ahead and mention the pun.
Rub and buff for a dramatic finish in seconds. Ladies, you know what we're talking about. Squeeze and rub on.
I was going to say, Lola, that's a great burlesque name. Is Ruby Rub and Buff.
Oh, goodness. The tagline is squeeze and rub evenly on wood. Repeat as necessary.
It's been one of those shows tonight.
I kind of want one of those.
Yeah.
We've got a whole bunch of these shirts. If you guys want to come down to TwoDEEP and pick one up, we'd be glad to give you one. Again, that's 714 North Capitol Ave, just downtown. Come say hi, have a beer. They have plenty of great ones. And yeah, once again, my name is Brian Hahn. I'm the general manager of the 86th Street Pub. We've got 7 craft beer lines that we rotate through constantly, over 50 bottled beers. And right now on draft, I've got actually 2 of the beers that we're going to be trying tonight. And I'm not even mad about it. I'm going to drink them all day. I'm drinking one of them now. They're amazing. And without further ado, let's go ahead and get into this. We are joined by Miss Lizzie, who is the marketing director here at TwoDEEP. Say hi, Lizzie.
Hello, everyone.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about what you do, broad strokes, because you do a lot.
Yeah, I do a lot. All right, so I am the marketing manager. That's kind of like a professional title. On my business card, though, it reads Wizard of Lightbulb Moments. I like to think that I have all the good ideas.
Awesome.
Or something. No, but I mean, a lot of it's just kind of from the website to social media to festivals and events to test tasting the beers or something like that.
Difficult job.
Yeah, it's super
Somebody's got to do it, though.
Yeah.
No,
So
I
jealous.
have to get people to drink beer. But yeah, I mean, in broad strokes, that's basically what I do over here.
Right on.
Sometimes I work as secretary. Sometimes I work in the tap room. Doesn't matter.
Right on. So you are just constantly out and about then, doing all the things.
I am. All right, and I'm gonna drink this flight with you guys as well.
Solid.
Sweet.
Do you want to just go ahead and get into that? We can
Yeah,
pepper in some
totally.
fun facts. All right, I'm down. I'm always ready to drink
All right,
2D beer.
So we poured for you. Our flight boards are 5-ounce pours. You're gonna start at the top and you're gonna zigzag south. It's shaped in like Indiana, so it makes sense.
They're quite nice.
Anyway.
Indicative of your logo, which I absolutely love. Your logo. It's one of those, like, it's iconic, and it feels like home looking at it.
That and like we're right down the street from the convention center, so we get a lot of out of towners in here, and so they're like, "Oh, this is Indiana beer," and we're like, "Oh, thanks." Score.
The logo worked.
Good. So I mean that works too.
Absolutely.
But yeah, actually that was a creative endeavor by one of Andy, our owner's friends. One of them that kind of talked him into opening a brewery, and he was like, all right, well, you're a graphic designer, make a logo. And so I have all of them upstairs, all of these different types of logos, and this was the winner. It was an obvious winner. But yeah, I did not do the logo.
I do
Well,
like.
whoever did was great.
I like the glass ring.
I do.
Yeah.
Thank you for
great.
noticing that it's a glass
Yeah.
ring.
Yeah.
No, it's just like when I first saw it, I think a year ago, I was just like, what a clever design idea. Like, you've already gone too deep. Like, I was thinking, like, you drank 2 beers that were awesome.
That
So
were
you're like,
fantastic.
might as well keep drinking.
Totally. I'm glad that you went that route.
Yeah. That's a
Good job.
Go with that story. That one works.
Sorry. All right, so at the top, we have the Nightstick Cream Ale. Second, I have the Red Sunday Irish Red Ale. You want me to just go down the list?
Yeah, just go down and we'll
Yeah,
drink them
definitely.
and then talk about them as we
After
do.
that, I have the Oktoberfest. It's a Marzen. This one right here is the Camp Hope Smoked Porter. And then last, near Evansville, I guess, is the Lake IPA. And then I have a few other beers that I'll bring out.
Alrighty, sounds cool. Well, before we get into this Nightstick Cream Ale, I'm going to talk about it just a little bit, and then I want to circle back to what you were talking about with the founding of 2D. But first off, Nightstick Cream Ale is 4.7% ABV with 2.1 IBUs and a 3.5 SRM. It is a pretty yellow, a little bit hazy, not perfectly clear, but that's all right. It's cream ale. We're not expecting it to be lager clear. It is a clean, well-attenuated, and flavorful American lawnmower beer. An ale version of American lager-style beer fermented with lager yeast at ale temperatures. Lighter-bodied and smooth for an easy drinking experience. All right, I'm just going to go ahead and dive right into this, guys. You tell me what you think.
I have to be honest, I've already had one.
Really?
Yes.
It's too deep.
And
Good
what
start.
What did you? It's too deep already, right off the bat.
I had a full, one of the tall ones. I had one when I came in, and I thought it was very, very, very enjoyable.
A real beer.
It's an anybody beer. I mean, anybody could drink this beer and love it. It's great.
Yeah. Lola, what do you think?
It's a very approachable lawnmower style. I like it a lot. It has a little bit more body than I was expecting, but I like that.
Yeah.
A little bit more of a round flavor at the very beginning. Very effervescent, too,
Agreed.
which is fun.
Yeah, it's one of those that's going to be good to drink. I mean, summer long, especially now because it's like 85 degrees in October in Indiana.
What
So
the heck?
yeah, so you can drink it in October still. Then.
Hey, you
True
don't like the
Indiana.
weather? Wait 5 minutes. All right.
Yeah, it'll probably snow in 5 minutes.
True Indiana beer, good in all weather, basically.
That's right.
Pretty much. God,
Lindsay,
I could
what do you
see-
think?
I could drink
That's
this
good. I
one.
mean, I agree with Lola with it's that nice summer type of beer, but it's got that, I don't know, the mouthfeel is thicker.
Yeah.
Ever so slightly, like not where you're shocked by it, but it's very comforting.
Yeah.
It has a
comforting feel.
clean finish. Which I mean,
Yeah.
that definitely. I mean, you can keep drinking more and more of them because I mean, it's not gonna be overpowering. Some hoppy
Exactly.
beers you have are gonna be way too hoppy and bitter, and your back of your throat can't
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
taste
really
anything
nice.
anymore. Yes, this one's nice and clean.
Especially at 4.7%. I mean, it's far below session standards. But I think it's outstanding. I find that Indianapolis loves their cream ales, and that's probably
Yeah.
due to Sun King's legacy
Yeah.
with their Sunlight Cream Ale. But this guy has got a lot more body on it. I think it's still nice and sweet, very drinkable. It's just a different take on a really good style, and I think this is a solid beer to have starting off your lineup.
Yeah, I
especially
agree.
for
I mean,
Indianapolis market.
It's definitely one that you can introduce yourself into craft beer with, which is smart.
Yeah.
Your brewery's going to have that gold, that blonde ale
Yeah.
because of that. So, yeah, good.
Yeah. All right. Well, while we sip on these, I want to hear a little bit more about Mr. Andy Meyer's story and how he decided to start this brewery. Hopefully, Andy will be joining us a little bit later. I've been told he's bringing pizza.
He's
so
bringing
I'm going to stick
pizza.
around until he shows up.
I
Cool,
think
that's
they,
the best
I
surprise
think
for
they
me
won
ever.
their game. It's 4-year-olds.
Celebrate.
I hope that they won their game.
Yeah, got it.
Okay, so I guess to take it all the way back, Andy is from Carmel, Indiana. He born and raised, and went to Carmel High School, went to IU, graduated from IU, and followed, I guess, his older brothers up to Chicago. That's what he thought he was supposed to do, so he did it. He went up there, got a job, and I guess he'll tell you that that's where he discovered craft beer. It's this big discovery, Columbus discovery. Anyway, so he by way of the map room. I think it's in Bucktown in Chicago, and I went there actually recently. They had an amazing beer list. I was so pleased. I made friends with the bartenders immediately, and the guys are back there looking at me like, God, why does she have to talk to everyone? And I'm like, guys, let's talk beer. We're here.
It's beer.
Anyway,
Let's
I
talk
know.
beer.
I mean, what else am I supposed to do? Drink it? Anyway.
Just drink it without talking about it. What? Who does that?
But one of his buddies took him to the map room up in Chicago, and I mean, he tried a beer, and he was like, "Ooh, that's different from what I drank in college." So I mean, at one after the other, he was like, "All right, like this is what beer is supposed to be." And so he became that craft beer nerd, the one that no one really loves to be around sometimes. But but I mean, he became that craft beer nerd that he wanted to try everything. And very quickly, one of his buddies was like, "You should start home brewing." He's like, "What's that?" So yeah, he started home brewing. He read up on it. Started with 2 different beers, and those 2 beers ended up being kind of, once he got, I don't know, years down the road, he looked back and was like, all right, that's when I started falling in love with the making of craft beer. So he named the brewery TwoDEEP. He thought he was being very clever, being like, all right, I was 2 deep then, and I was 2 beers deep in then, and again, clever. Anyway, but yeah, so home brewing roots. Eventually, around 2010 or so, him and his family came back to Chicago, came back from Chicago to Indianapolis, and he decided, all right, if I'm going to do this, I need to do it now. So the craft beer was getting to be a bigger thing in Indianapolis at that time. Sun King had opened up. There were other breweries on the verge of opening up. So yeah, he decided, all right, I'm going to do this. He got the funding. He looked for a spot. He worked on his beers. He had lots of little festivals in his backyard, yeah.
Yeah. Come drink my beer. Tell me what you think.
I mean, the Nightstick Cream Ale was one of his original home brews. It didn't start with that name. The name before that was.
Come on, tell us.
It was very mature, guys.
You're amongst friends.
It was In Your Pants Cream Ale.
Wait, I don't get it. Can you explain that?
Anyway.
What's an innuendo?
But it was the beer ended up being named by one of the contractors that worked on this space, and it was his favorite drinking beer, and he named it the Nightstick. So we gave him those naming rights.
Right on.
But yeah, Cream Ale is one of the original home brews.
That's a good one.
Awesome. That's super cool. That's one thing I love about this brewery is there's literally a story for every. Like if we went around just in this room and in the brew house, there's a story for literally everything in here. That is just amazing.
As it should be, really.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, including the popcorn maker.
That was going to be
I mean,
my.
I have to know where
Yes.
that. I don't
what
know
is
that
the story
story.
with the popcorn machine?
I don't-
All right, well, you saw the fermenters. You saw the family back there.
Yes.
Yes.
Cousin Eddie had a dog named Snot.
That is right.
Oh.
Named Snot.
Yeah.
Oh, I would have remembered that next time I watched the movie.
Yeah. I mean, we have back there Clark and Ellen and Russ and Aunt Bethany, and we have Cousin Eddie, and
these
we
are the
got
names
this
of your
pop-
your
of our
fermentation
yeah,
tanks. and
of our brew house.
it's the whole
It's
Griswold
the,
family.
Yeah,
is
the
there.
entire Griswold family's back there. So when we got a popcorn machine, we were like, all right, we should name the popcorn machine, and we were looking for a name that we hadn't used, and Snot is the dog.
Does it make
All
the
right.
snot sound? Like,
No.
Have you
that's
dragged?
just snot.
Did you drag it behind a car at any point?
No,
Just
that wasn't snots. That was the other one. I can't remember.
That was Vacation.
Yeah,
that
that's-
wasn't.
yeah.
That wasn't Christmas.
That wasn't
Have you
dog,
guys all
um,
seen Christmas Vacation?
It is
Yeah.
a standard holiday viewing
Yeah.
at my house.
Yep.
Okay, good. All right. Just
Oh,
My
yeah.
mother.
Okay.
He's
I'm
thinking of
thinking
the original
I'm
Vacation.
thinking
you
Vacation.
can't be hired at TwoDEEP unless you've seen it.
Well, I should hope so.
One of my favorite movies of all time. I can almost tell you every scene of that movie.
It's so good.
Oh, she wraps her cat. That's
Yeah.
that's one of my favorite parts.
I wasn't
Yeah.
talking to you, Griswold.
Oh,
We need
goodness.
to open that present first.
Hey, speaking of pizza, it's here.
Sweet.
All right. Oh, guys. All right, so I got some margarita pizzas. Now, so we got this pizza from Pie Indy. It's a local food truck that's gonna set up shop at the brewery.
Nice.
But yeah, so we're hoping for mid-November, as long as everything goes as planned. But yeah, so I mean, the food truck opened in October of 2014, near when we opened, and it's. Have you guys seen the truck? So it's a large truck. It has one of those shipping containers on the back of it, and then they took out a wall of it, and they have this glass, so you can see everything that happens inside of the food truck. And they have this large like wood-fired oven.
In the food truck?
In the food truck.
What?
It's a beautiful food truck, and they do wood-fired pizzas and wood-fired burgers, and he makes these cannolis. But yeah, I mean, we've had him out here multiple times, and again, in passing, he was just like, "Hey, you want me to cook for you daily?" And I was like, "What?
Yes.
Yes. Tell me more."
Personal chef.
Continue.
But yeah, so he kind of pitched the idea. Lawrence Scully is the owner chef, but he kind of pitched the idea to us, like, "Hey, like, I know you guys have wanted to expand your menu beyond popcorn and pretzels. What do you think?" And we. Of course. All right, so I'm going to pass these out to you guys. Are they all margarita pizzas? Oh, they're not. Oh, poop. I don't know how to tell you which ones are which.
Throw this one down
All
here,
right.
and we'll switch them around.
This
While we're
one,
passing these out, in the meantime, before Pie sets up shop, if people want to get a bite to eat while they're at TwoDEEP, I hear that you have good relationships with everyone around you. And they'll kind of deliver in. You've got Sushi Boss, which will come
right?
in.
And a lot of people bring their own food. A lot of people get delivery. So yeah, I mean, Sushi Boss, they deliver. Cluster Truck that opened up, they'll deliver, and they have lots of different virtual food trucks to choose from. It's clustertruck.com. People get
Cluster Truck.
Cluster
Yes.
Truck, yes.
It's amazing.
With a T.
Love
With
it.
a T.
Cluster truck is amazing.
Don't try to
All
type
right.
it
It's
the
easy.
other way.
And then like Basbo's will deliver, Saffron Cafe will deliver, and then there's also things like DoorDash and things like that. But yeah, I mean, a lot of people end up getting delivery in here, which is kind of nice. It's like I mean, they can choose whatever they want to go with this beer.
And that will still continue after the kitchen build out with pie, or no?
No.
No. Ooh, so you're going to get the kitchen and then no more of the bringing in.
Exclusivity.
Yeah.
Eat our pizza, they say.
Eat our pizza.
It's all right. This pizza
it's
looks
our
delicious.
pizza.
It looks
I don't think
amazing.
I'm
All
gonna have
right,
a problem
so
finding
we
that.
have a margarita pizza. We have this one right here is called the 4th and Inches, and it has banana peppers. I think it has 3 different types of peppers. It has some like barbecue sauce on it, I think. Some goat cheese, melted, and it's lovely. This one over here looks like arugula and prosciutto. I don't know
And
what
then
yours looks
I've got, it looks like spinach or basil, a little bit of ham, red onions. Looks delicious. It's got white sauce, maybe olive oil.
Bacon? A little bit of bacon.
I don't know. It could be, yeah, a little bit of bacon crumbles in there. It all looks delicious. I guess-
Pineapple, I see.
Yeah. Pineapple?
Yeah, I think there's a
Ooh,
piece
I
right
bet
there.
this is some kind of funky Hawaiian.
It's good. This one is awesome.
He does have a
yeah,
pie
some of
that's
the
named
barbecue
Pineapple
sauce is
Express, so that might be that.
Yeah, I mean, I would eat this while watching that.
All four of them. watching
Anyway,
that.
It's good.
well, while we're munching on this food, I don't know about you guys, but I finished that cream ale already, so I say we go ahead and move on to the next guy, which is the Red Sunday Irish Red Ale. This is a 5.9% ABV, 11.5 IBU, and 13.4 SRM. It's got a gorgeous color. It's real clear. It's that deep amber red hue you expect out of a solid Irish red ale. As if the glass was filled with flutes, fiddles, and
Julian.
Julian. All right. Look that up later. This red ale is a staple, just like its stout cousin, in any Irishman's glass. Crystal clear with a reddish copper hue, it begins with initial sweet toffee and subtle notes of caramel from its malt backbone. I've had this beer many a time, especially like right around St. Patty's Day. You find this beer all over town. It's really good, super malty. And that's you know what, that's kind of going to be a theme today is the malt. I see Andy's here. I'll wait to pick his brain about beer and how specifically he brews it. Oh, no, you're talking, bud.
Of course you're talking.
Come on.
I will note that this
You have a
All
wonderful
right.
voice.
this beer has red mentioned twice in its name.
Yes, sir.
It is definitely a red ale. Very red.
Really good.
It's
Oh,
smooth.
it's so
Finish of
clean.
it is fantastic.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
It's a
This
little-
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
So, I mean, the Nightstick Cream Ale and the Red Sunday Irish Red Ale, those are probably two of our most popular beers in the tap room. We have, it's the space, a lot of larger groups come in, and not everyone is, or there are a lot of people that are new to craft beer, so they come up and they're like, all right, how do I start? So I normally start them off with the cream ale or something, the cream ale, and I tell them it's a gateway craft beer. But then with this one, I put it in front of them and they look at it like, oh my God, that's dark. No. But I mean, it's actually really light on your palate, and it's a little, it's sweeter. It's very mild. Those IBUs are pretty down there. But I mean, it's very easy to drink. Everyone in my family loves that. And that doesn't make sense to everyone, but for my mom and my dad and my brother and my sister to all love one beer, that's I think it speaks volumes. But yeah, so that's my spiel on the Red Sunday.
Right on.
I mean, it definitely has a nice malt taste to it. I mean, it has almost like a fruity finish a little bit, which I like that. It's different. Yeah, I know we've talked about on past shows that we're both getting into that big malt beers right now.
Oh, yeah.
Looking forward to Oktoberfest right now as well. Yeah, that one is definitely has a malt to it, but the fruitiness caught me off guard at first, but I like it.
Yeah. It's complex, this little red ale.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people, when they drink Irish reds or ambers, get caught up in the toffee and the caramel and just the roastiness of the malt. But having that little tinge of fruit, that little balance on the back end, I don't know if it's from the hops or it's from some of the malt magic they do here. But it is an incredibly clean beer, great finish through and through, great to pair with food.
Yeah.
This is definitely one I would drink with a burger or pork loin, barbecue, whatever.
Yeah, it's not going to overpower any food, so I mean, you can definitely have beers there and
Compare
also
it with just about anything.
Yeah.
That is good.
Absolutely.
No, I really like. It's not as heavy
No.
as I would have thought. It's very
Like the initial taste would
approachable.
first lead you to think that it's going to be a little bit heavier, but then it like
it's like
ends a little higher.
just kidding.
Yeah, you can't be
I'm
scared of
tasty.
dark beers, folks.
Yeah.
No.
Just because they're
Don't be
dark
scared.
doesn't mean they're heavy. And this is-
It's crystal clear too. I mean, it's not dark like you would think.
Yeah.
It is. It's very surprising for as being a red ale. It is not what I would usually put on the spectrum of if you told me this is a red ale and I was blindfolded, I wouldn't believe you. It's
fair.
it's got a different. It's very different. It's got a very different, smooth, yet still crisp taste. It's really good.
It tastes very transitional. Like, oh, you could totally drink this in the spring, and I think it's great for autumn. It's not super thick and heavy quite
Right.
yet.
Absolutely. I think that's something that's that we're going to find, like I said, a lot with a lot of the beers we drink tonight, because Two Deep is kind of different than a lot of other breweries where they focus more on the malt than all of the hops that they put in. A lot of people got crazy with in the early kind of surge of craft beer, especially in Indianapolis, and who can make the hoppiest beer, who can make the most alcoholic, high ABV beer.
There's a line.
Yeah, and there's a line, and Two Deep has decided to circumnavigate the line and just make really good malty beer. And then when they started making IPAs, just blew those out of the water. People were, I was looking forward to them when they started talking about Lake, especially. But then when they put it out, and it's immaculately balanced. We'll get to that later when we get to it. I love that beer. But that's something that's wonderful. Yeah, I do.
No way.
Just this brewery does a lot of really good things with balance and subtlety that I will make Andy talk about now. Mr. Andy Meyer has joined us.
Good evening, everyone.
Hey.
How are you doing, sir? How's the drive from Noblesville?
I'm doing well. My apologies for my tardiness.
Hey,
I had a 6-year-old soccer game I had to get to.
It's okay. You brought pizza. You are forgiven.
I did.
All is forgiven.
Did they win?
I think so. We don't really keep score, but if I had to answer honestly, yes, we kicked their butt.
Nice.
Yeah, we used to call
That's
it
the start.
magnet ball when my younger siblings were playing, where the ball goes and the kids just follow it around.
Oh, yeah.
There's really no positional playing.
Great.
Exactly.
They won high points for adorableness.
Yes.
So true. So, but thank you guys for coming out.
Hey, absolutely.
Thank you for
wonderful.
having us. This is wonderful. Nice place.
Thank you. I appreciate
I
it.
love how roomy, it seems when you walk in. It's everything is in one room. It's you have lounge, you have tables, you have a nice bar. It's very inviting. The woodwork, yet you still have the original architecture and the basically the. You don't notice the rafters, but you can see them. I don't know. It's very. I don't know.
It's kind of industrial meets pub.
Yeah.
Is the way I
like
would
that.
describe
I
it.
mean,
Very good
look at the beautiful woodwork above the bar, and then you just kind of go up into the upper atmosphere of the building, and you're like, oh, this is really cool. It's kind of vintage, and it's really really neat.
When I walked in, I got like the beer hall type feeling to it. Yeah.
Agreed.
Which I love that it's walkable. I live and work right down the street. Maybe 5 minutes away at the most, and then right behind us basically is the canal, which is another great opportunity. And then right along the cultural trail, so it's definitely a nice location.
Yeah, it's a great location.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. This was actually the 4th spot we spent any kind of time and effort on. We were the last place before this was actually 500 North Capitol, so just 2 blocks down. We had spent about 7 months negotiating a lease with them, and everything just kind of fell apart. Obviously, it was a blessing in disguise. We kind of had to jump into this place. Real estate agent brought me in here, and if you can picture drywall all the way around, a drop ceiling, cubicles, carpet, the entire building, that's what this place used to look like. And so she brought me in here.
Amazing transformation.
Well, that's the thing. I had no view or vision for it, and she said, "You just got to look past it." And I said, "What the hell am I looking at?" So,
What's with all the carpet and cubicles?
yeah, what am I going to do with this? So, thankfully, at the time, she had a vision way beyond mine. And to be brutally honest with you, the tap room was actually a secondary thought to what we were going to do as a business. When we opened, or when I was getting ready to open, I thought, yep, we're going to be a distributing brewery out the door. That's just how it's going to go. And yep, here we go. Day one, it was tap room, and distribution. Yeah, you're just going to have to sit and wait for a while. So, this kind of took off. And, I wanted it to always kind of be like all those adjectives you guys said. And the one word I ever used, a friend of mine gave me, was earthy. And it was just kind of that warm feeling of just show up, kick your feet up, and have a beer, have a
Absolutely.
conversation.
This is the first time I've been here this time of day. Came in, got here around 6 o'clock, still bright outside. And as the sun sets, during the day, you got these big windows out front. You got the windows on the side. A lot of great natural light that comes in here. But as it starts to get to dusk, the warmth of the wood and all the can lights, that's something I noticed, especially tonight, because I was looking around a little more than concentrating on my beer like I normally do. The lighting in here is just awesome. It's so
Perfect.
warm, and that's
Yeah.
oh god, it's great.
Yeah, I mean, the warm is definitely what stood out to me. I mean, I wrote that on our kind of review sheets. That I mean, warm, welcoming, inviting, and then you wouldn't really think like you're right down the street from downtown Indianapolis. It feels like it would be tucked back in like the woods, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, the fireplace as well. That dual-sided fireplace right there.
Cabin type feels to it. Yeah.
And that was my only requirement with the architect and the contractors. I said, I don't know how you're going to do it. I just want a fireplace somehow, some way. And of course, I'd do little doodlings on a napkin, and it'd be in a corner, it'd be on the wall somewhere. And they both kind of came together and said, well, what if we put it right at the edge of the bar? And I'm like, are you out of your mind? How are we going to put a fireplace in the middle of the bar at the edge of it? Sure enough, it works.
Yeah, it fits well.
It totally works. It's just incredible to go into an industrial space and not feel like you're in an industrial space. You feel just very cozy, even though like the ceilings are high. I didn't feel.
It doesn't feel clinical like
It
you do
doesn't-
in
yeah,
an industrial space sometimes.
Yeah,
It's
it
like,
didn't,
yeah.
didn't feel like that. It was like, oh, this is really nice. Like I can hang out with some girlfriends here and just hang out and drink really good beer.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. I take zero credit for it. I gave them adjectives. They somehow pumped this thing out. So
It's great.
thank you.
Well, you do have a pretty decent background in brewing, though. We got to take a peek around the brew house there.
Oh, boy.
I don't think I'd ever seen Brutus before.
Oh, God.
Tell us about Brutus. Tell us how it got started.
So
and tell
sorry
us
about that.
It's cool.
It's like the 15-year-old dog who's got 3 legs and one eye.
I did describe it as like the adorable grandpa that you trot out for like family gatherings, but the 15-year-old dog looks too.
It looks kind of, I thought, well, it's a little bit steampunk, but really not. I mean, I don't know. It's you could tell that it's been around a while. You could tell that, you made it from scratch. You could tell that it probably makes, some pretty awesome beer. So tell us a little bit about how that got started.
Well, so my I guess beer experience all started when I was living in Chicago at the time. Originally from the Indianapolis area. After I was done down in Bloomington, I didn't know what to do with my life, so I followed my 2 older brothers and said, Chicago, here I come. So went up to Chicago, and the career I was doing at the time was network radio, as a matter of fact, as we sit here and do this.
And you didn't want to get on the mic.
Not on the air. I was just selling ads, and network radio selling ads it's intangible. You're selling hundreds of stations throughout the country in C&D counties, and it's like, well, what's the fun in this? So that was kind of the start of my career path. But at the time, I stumbled upon craft beer via the Map Room. And this was ended 2004, beginning of 2005, and in essence, that was ahead of its time. And so we were in there. A buddy took me in there one Friday afternoon, and was giving me a beer after beer, and every single one was different from the one before. And I thought, holy crap, this is what beer's supposed to be. Because everything I knew about beer was what we learned down in school. It's it's fast, it's yellow, it's cheap. So that's when I discovered.
How we have all grown.
Exactly.
I mean, Map Room is a good spot to get into beer.
Yeah, totally. He was describing. He's like, there's like 30 taps on the wall. There's 200 different kinds of bottled beer, and I'm like, you're speaking a foreign language. I don't understand that.
There are 200 kinds of beer?
Since when?
Do you know what beer did it? Like when to convince you that this is what this
It was.
be?
God, it was a German. It was actually a Marzen. Hence, I'm drinking one right now. Oh God, I can't think of the name of it. I've got a bottle of it at home, packed away in a box. But it was an old German brewery that I had, and I'm just picking the most random thing I can point at on a list that I can't even pronounce. So then I'm like, that's really good. And then it was a domino effect from there. Well, let's try that. Let's try that. Let's try that. Yeah. So that kind of spurred this is what craft beer is. Then it kind of spawned into, all right, what could I get off the shelf, just going to the store? And I started like a lot of us do. I was grabbing Fat Tire, and I think actually at that time, Fat Tire wasn't even in Indiana yet. And doing other things like that. Obviously, the Sam Adams kick happened, and all the big craft that you go through when you start this whole adventure. So did that, and a couple months later, discovered you could brew this stuff at home. So I'm like, wait a minute. I can actually make this too? So jumped into homebrewing head first, and I vividly remember standing in the Barnes & Noble's checkout line, and I had a stack of books in my arms, and the guy at the cash register looked at me like, dude, you got a problem. And I'm like, no, these are just gifts for people.
Not yet, I don't.
Exactly. 10 books in my arms of how to make beer. Yeah, it didn't look so great. But I I fell in love with the kind of the art clashing with science, and I loved how those two worlds that don't necessarily coexist, you're just cramming them together into a pint glass. And so I was going cover to cover as fast as I could. And the joke I tell everybody, which is very true, is that was the first and only time I've ever finished required reading for any kind of coursework. I still have yet to admit that to my parents. But I mean, I was
motivation
flying.
is there.
Exactly. If only I would have known this in school. Yeah. So I just couldn't get enough of it and jumped into it. Once I felt like I had read up on enough, self-taught knowledge, if you will, grabbed 2 recipe kits from, one was from Northern Brewer, and another one, please don't laugh at me, was from the Good Eats show with Alton Brown. And it was how to make beer.
Alton Brown.
And it was that recipe that he made on that show, and I'm like, let's do this. So brewed those 2 batches up. It was a English brown and a mild. Yeah, living on the edge of the spectrum there. Brewed them up, cracked them open, when they were ready, and I'm like, holy crap, this is, I took this, and this is what I got out of it. Yeah, I'm in. So the name of the brewery actually stemmed from that. I was too deep, and I realized I want to do this. This is cool. So that just kind of snowballed, went out of control, and it was brewing so much that I was putting it on people's doorsteps because I didn't know what to do with it. I mean, I would drink a beer here and there and while I was brewing, but I'm like, what am I going to do with this beer? I would just give it to people and get rid of it. So, like I said, that just went bonkers. Brewed came into the picture because I was like, all right, extract, that's cool. All right, partial, that's cool. Let's get to the real business here. Let's go all grain. I did 2 batches in a modified cooler, and I'm like, still not happy enough. Let's go to the next level. Let's go buy a welder. Let's go buy some square bar. Let's build this damn thing. By no means did I design it. I kind of took the designs online and modified it a little bit, but I'm like, yep, let's do this. And so it's like, how can we take a brewery and condense it down to something you squeeze in a garage? Well, there you go.
A couple kegs with the tops cut off.
It does have it has like a neat A-team look to it. Like you were on a mission and you had this, you busted out of your garage with this,
Did you notice the control panel?
Oh, yeah.
How big it was for like 5 buttons on there?
Yeah. It's like the Apollo lander or something like that.
Exactly.
That's amazing.
All the buttons everywhere.
All right, that's awesome. I mean, that's one of those stories that, people talk about being home brewers, but to see it actually still being used in your brew house,
that's the fantastic
in
part.
all of its rugged glory, just makes me laugh.
It's
and
limping
smile.
along. It's limping along.
She's a champ. He, she, I don't know. Anyway, I'll tell you guys what. You were, Andy, talking about your Meritzen, and I'm not gonna lie, I have this on tap right now at the pub, and it's amazing. Very true to style.
Thank you.
I'm going to read a little bit about it. 5.8% ABV, 23.4 IBU, 12.2 SRM. Naturally clear with autumn's classic golden copper hue. This lager is medium-bodied and upfront for sweet breadiness, rich malt character, and pleasantly mild, spicy herbal bitterness from the noble hops. Prost, my friends. Sláinte for us Irish guys. And I've been waiting a little bit to talk about not just this lager, but the way that you guys lager. You do some of the best lagers, not just in the state, but that I have ever had in my life.
Thank you.
Between 18 Days Maibach.
19.
Is it 19?
You forgot a day.
Excuse me, 19 days. I jumped the gun, my bad. Hell of a Dort Fest, which is, Lizzie described it as a bastard lager, which I think is just the funniest thing in the universe.
That's probably the best description.
Helles, Dortmunder, and Meritzen, or Oktoberfest as it's also known. And then, this Meritzen, it's incredible. How did you decide, I want to do lagers? Because I know it's not cheap to do the lagers. But to do it and to do it properly is a truly beautiful thing.
It really came from a lot of those beers I had in the early days of discovering craft, and people have this connotation of what a lager is, and it's there's no flavor, it's very thin, and it's just straight yellow. It doesn't have to be that way at all. So when I really got into lagers, and lagers really started on the homebrew side, and it was to the point where I had thermostat controlled refrigerators, and I was lagering from the get-go. Just because I love those clean finishing beers, but yet still had a lot going on in the profile. So when come time to, let's think about doing some beers that just aren't readily available out there, well, let's see what we had in the homebrew book. from our recipes and kind of bring those to a production size. In the homebrew days, I let it sit the way these books told me to let it sit, and the way we were taught at Siebel is give it the time it needs, which is we let it sit for a tank for 3 months. From a business standpoint, people look at me like I'm fucking crazy, which is very true. But yeah, it makes absolutely no business sense to let a beer sit in a tank for 3 months. But you get things out of it that you just cannot cheat and you cannot mimic in other ways.
Did you find? I mean, that really made you kind of stood out in the market here, though. I mean, you don't really see too many lagers around here. I mean, people will have their Oktoberfest on occasionally, but most people are just running out those ales because they do. I mean, so it gives you the ability to stand out for sure.
It's so true. There's a brewery in Chicago. They came and talked at one of our classes, Metropolitan Brewing. I don't know if you guys have heard of them. They do, and I don't know if they still hold true to this, but at the time they were strictly lagers. That's all they did. And people were kind of like, that just doesn't make sense. But they were doing something that you just couldn't get otherwise. So that kind of resonated with me when we started thinking about doing them here. But you know what? I felt like there was a void. Let's try to fill it. And, these came out.
You've definitely filled that void. And you filled it well as well.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
You were talking about classes. What classes do you have?
So did brewing science at Siebel.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
So, and spring of 2009.
It's like legit classes.
Well, that was.
I was about to be like, is this something I can go? Oh, this is not something I can go to.
No, this was some friends from Indy were up visiting. We're drinking Brickhouse, and they're like, "Dude, you should start a brewery." And I'm like, "What? You're out of your mind, man!" And I never really, thought to just open a brewery. When I fell in love with craft beer, it was, well, could I quit my day job and go scrub floors somewhere? I don't know. I need to talk to Michelle about this one and see if she's cool with that. But, as that kind of, started to grow inside of me, it was, okay, homebrewing is one thing, but we should probably put some kind of backing behind that. And that's kind of where the Siebel thing came into play. I was home office based at the time, so I had a lot of flexibility to go and do that stuff. So
that's a nice one.
That's awesome.
Oh, that's
I'm a big fan of this beer. I mean,
Thank
that,
you.
I guess that herbal spiciness. I mean, that definitely sits there, but definitely the malt. I mean, it's a good combination of taste
and
there.
as Brian was mentioning earlier, we really love to play up our malt bills, and we let that continue on in the lagers that we do. Hell of a Dortfest. I think Brian knows the story behind this one.
Oh, yeah.
This was we're kind of sitting around looking at all the grain we've got and thinking, well, what can we make? And so we're like, well, we got a lot of things that go into some of the lagers that we make. Let's clash these things together and see what we can do. And sure enough, Hell of a Dortfest was born.
That's clever.
The trifecta of lager.
Oh man,
I love that about the way you guys brew. Is it's very you take a very serious approach to making sure that you do things the right way, but you do it with a lighthearted attitude. I mean, and that's it's evident. Like if you just sit in here and drink beer and don't talk to anybody, like, oh, they make good beer. But as soon as you start to get to know the people that work here, it just you just see how much fun you guys have doing what you do. Whether it's in naming your beers or the people you do business with. I mean, you guys do a lot with this surrounding area. I know you've got the one IPA, Koala, and Kumba's Legacy.
Yeah.
For the Indianapolis Zoo.
Yeah, we did do that. This was that was a year ago. Oh my God. Back in spring of 2015, the koalas were on exhibit at the zoo, and we had just done Koala's Blanket, and so the Blanket series was our heavy malt bill series of an IPA, and we kept the same malt bill for each one, but changed the hops on it every time. So we did Koala's Blanket, and we used a lot of Australian and New Zealand hops to make that thing up, and the zoo found out about it, and they said, hey, we're getting ready to open the exhibit for the koalas this summer. We'd love to have, come pour some beer for all of our benefactors. I'm like, great, that'd be awesome. When is it? It's May. Now, mind you, this time it's like March when they're telling us about this. We're like, it's probably not going to be around, and we don't want to sit on it that long. So like, well, can you make it again? Sure, why not? So we went back to make it, and we went to source the hops again. It was like, oh, shit, we can't get them.
Oh, no.
So we had to modify it a little bit. We still had the Southern Pacific hops in there. But we had to modify which ones we used. But because of that, we went ahead and named it Kumba's Legacy. Kumba was the koala that was here back in 2008. It was Kumba's son that was here in 2015.
Nice.
Making the koala family
Yeah.
connection.
Nice.
Right on.
Very fun. Oh, this Oktoberfest is so
It's so good, right? It's just
Thank you.
so good. It's not too sweet, and it's not too. I mean, it's malty, but it doesn't have that weird malty aftertaste.
it's not overly sweet.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the
Yeah,
big.
it's
that's the big
it's
fan
well
from
it's
it.
well balanced.
Yeah,
Very
those noble
rich.
hops in that one. Yeah, very very balanced there.
Yeah, it's super clean.
Yeah, I mean this style. I've been drinking a lot of this style recently, so it's perfect right now.
Tis the time of year.
Yeah,
for
no
that.
kidding.
Tis the
It's
season.
the season for the reason. Is that right? That's wrong. It's backwards.
Other way.
Who cares? Beer's
works.
happening,
Beer.
folks.
It works.
Speaking of beer, I want to move on to the Camp Hope Smoked Porter, which I also have on tap at the 86th Street Pub. 5.9%, 32.4 IBUs, 29.6 SRM. It's a dark one. Not gonna lie. It's got a little bit of light that goes through it, but it's not light in color by any stretch of the imagination. What is that word? Percocized? I don't know.
Is that a coffee?
It's got
reference?
I guess it's the first word on the description. Moving on. A full-bodied and robust smoked beer brewed with applewood smoked malt. With a strong toasty nose and rich lingering finish, this beer is even better than Twinkies on your pizza. I've never had
That's-
Twinkies on my
I have
pizza,
not
but
either.
I will say this beer is damn good. Did you guys give it a look once over?
Okay.
Oh,
My nose is happy just
Yeah.
smelling it.
Very smoky.
Have you guys ever had smoked beer before?
I have. And I'm glad that this one, because a lot of you get, and it's like that liquid smoke taste where it's like
yeah, where it's
barbecue.
super artificial.
This one is very, I guess real. And then the smoke taste is there, but it's not overpowering. It's not artificial at all. So I like this one.
It definitely complements the roastiness of
Yeah.
the malt, that chocolate, that coffee that you expect out of a porter. But
The smoke
enhances it.
elevates it
Yeah.
a little bit. It
Yeah.
holds it up, so it's just not super,
I
super
want to sit around a
heavy.
campfire in like a hoodie and like
Yeah.
it's like that slight chill in the air with it.
This is perfect.
like that.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, because I've had so many smoked beers, and they do have that artificial. So when I saw that on the list, like, okay, but
Bring
I
it.
I like it. Yeah, so it's one that's definitely approachable. It's not going to be overpowered by any means. That smoke taste definitely complements the malt and the chocolate there.
Well, I'll admit I was scared out of my mind to
Yeah.
brew this beer because I've had plenty that get way over smoked and it's like licking a burnt piece of wood.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
disgusting. Austin, the head brewer back there, he's been a phenomenal addition to the team. Thank you, Lizzie.
Ooh.
He convinced me. We had a porter recipe that we built through Brutus back there on the homebrew side. He's like, "What if we smoke it?" And I'm like, "Dude, you're crazy. You're crazy. You're playing with fire." Somewhat figuratively and literally, but sure enough, we made it work, and we tried to keep it on the low side as much as we could, but yet still get something out of it, so you could get that smokiness.
Yeah, I think you definitely get the smokiness, but
Yeah.
like I said, it's not, like Jordan said, not overpowering at all. It's
Yeah.
dare I say perfect. It's a perfect amount of smoke.
It's really, really unique and really nice. I don't feel like, I don't know. I love it.
We got a fire pit out back. Do you want me to bring it up front here and
Let's do it.
light it up?
Ooh, yes. With
Why don't, you
marshmallows.
just, why don't you do it right there on the?
We do have the fire. I
fireplace,
forgot
right
about the fireplace. We can do that. Yes.
Is that functional? I've always wondered.
It
There's not
is.
is it really?
It is. We can turn it on, but we're gonna get a little warm.
Touche. Let's wait a
It
couple
is,
months.
yeah.
We'll
Yeah.
save it. We'll come
Or a
back in
week, as it
December.
is in Indiana.
Yeah.
Or we can come back in a couple of weeks, in about 7 weeks, when Pie opens.
This is a good
I see
point.
what you did there.
Well
this,
done.
This pizza is outstanding.
It is really
Yeah.
good.
Good
It
on
is.
you for getting them in here.
You know what? This beer will go. This will go really well. This Camp Hope will go really well with some of this pizza. You know,
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
fire
Yeah.
pizza.
I think it's great with the
With that
prosciutto.
barbecue sauce one.
Oh yeah.
And
Yeah.
the
You got down
barbecue,
there.
yeah.
That one disappeared. I think it's right here.
I don't know where it ended up.
It
That's
disappeared into my
spectacular.
mouth.
It is
Right here.
spectacular.
No, I had the arugula and the prosciutto. I think this would go really
Got
well.
the
with
Hawaiian
this.
one over here.
Confirmed on the arugula. Yes.
Yeah. Good stuff.
It's down here. But yeah, this is a
Yeah.
great little beer.
I'm a big fan of this beer.
Is this one you guys are going to brew a lot? Because you guys do rotate through quite a lot of different styles of beer.
We do. We're definitely going to be doing or trying to bring the seasonals and specialties back around more and more. As the distribution world has taken off, it's demanded the 4 standards, especially as we went into cans.
Yeah.
And that's a whole juggling act in and of itself.
Because you guys can in house.
We do. It's a rarity, but from day one, I knew I wanted to can, so we bought ourselves a canning line at the beginning. We let it sit in the brewery for about a year and become a glorified shelf. I was more scared to push the on button than anything, but we finally did.
Does it still work?
It does. Sometimes
and that's all that counts.
Exactly. So, but because of that, we kind of had to shift focus a little bit and put a lot of emphasis on the 4 year-round standards that we do because of the canning. But we're getting back into a good groove. We can get more of these seasonals and specialties back in the tap room and out to places like you guys.
Nice, man.
Good.
Fantastic. Cool.
All right. I guess we can move on to the what's last year? Oh, of course, it's the Lake IPA.
Yes.
I've been looking forward to it this entire time. It's been too long since I had this beer. It's a superbly good IPA, 7%, 85.7 IBU with a 9.6 SRM. The description reads, drop the anchor, strap on a life jacket, and grab this easy drinking IPA. With its malty backbone, this IPA is perfectly balanced, brewed with Cascade, Centennial, and Northern Brewer hops for a strong citrus aroma, refreshing hop bitterness, and a nice dry finish. And I'm going to shut up and drink it.
The aroma on that is
Yes.
very good.
Yum.
Yeah.
It's
This is like a straight up perfume.
Yeah.
I suppose smell it.
Forget the
That's good.
milkshakes. I'm wearing this to bring
Yeah.
all the boys to my yard.
Just dab it behind the ears there.
Yeah, you think
Okay.
it's what is this?
We have interesting descriptions.
It is. It's flavor.
great.
This is a really great. I'm gonna say chewy IPA
Chewy.
because it's not one that you just want to drink. It's bitter. It's dry. It's hoppy. It's great. But this
Wow,
is
that's good.
as with everything else in Too Deep. The malt is what sings the song, and the hops are second fiddle. But they blend together perfectly. It's crystal clear. It's superbly good. It's such a good IPA. How'd you guys come up with this guy?
Lake IPA was the lone IPA recipe that was always in the background. Came from the homebrew days as well, but kind of got modified as it came up the ranks here at the brewery. It's funny, we brewed it once for grand opening and then kind of sat on it and didn't do much of it afterwards. And one of our former employees, Mike, he said, as soon as you brew that damn thing, he's like, it's over. You're going to be brewing it all the time. And sure enough, he was right. And we turned it into one of our standards because at the time it was like, maybe we'll do Lake IPA every once in a while. And nope, that wasn't the case at all. It was, you have to do it all the time now.
This tastes like a graduation beer. Like, oh, you're ready to really get into some more craft kind of brews. This
like
is
that.
definitely like the next level.
It's a really great description.
Because then you can like explain about the texture, the mouth feel, the chewiness, and then really take in like the floral smells at the very beginning. And
Sure. Some of my favorite malts are some of the Munich malts out there, and I love playing with crystal caramel malts as well. And so we've got a significant combination of those two styles of malts on top of the base that we use. Try to give it that real kind of beautiful amber color that it's got, but give it a broad spectrum of flavor instead of just kind of dying out and going straight to bitterness. I think you mentioned earlier, giving it some kind of balance to it, and that's kind of what we were going for, and having the malt backbone that we are, that we put into our beers. That's kind of what really played up to making this what it is.
I can't quit smelling it. It just
It's the same, right?
It smells so
I
good.
told you.
That's how you
it
know you've got
totally
a-
Lola's description of perfume is
Yeah.
completely accurate.
That's how you know you've got a good IPA. If you like,
Yeah.
it's an old Cat Williams skit that I absolutely love.
I like where this
It's
is headed.
definitely not about beer, but I'm gonna pretend he's talking about beer.
Yes.
You know, it's good when
Yes,
you take
let's pretend it's talking about
when
beer.
you take a sip, and you just gotta look at it. You're like, this right here. There's something in that. Something in that right there. That's not right.
I totally wish we had video right now because that whole series of gestures,
No, that's what it is. You just arm's length away, look at it in the light.
dark.
Something. No, I don't. Something. That's not right.
You could
It's so right.
waft it. You need to waft it with your other hand.
I'm gonna waft it with my mouth.
if I were more Nordic, I would rinse my sinuses out with this. This is great.
Oh, let's see it.
Okay, wow, that's a step.
Bet you won't do it. Can we get a straw?
Anyone have a neti pot?
Anybody has
Oh, neti
right?
pot.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like,
just
well,
all the-
it is
the
getting
neti
to
pot
be
beer.
that time
It
of
is
year.
that time of year, indeed.
Goodness.
You're like, not only is it delicious to drink, it will also help with your seasonal allergies.
God, it'd be a
Right
miracle
up.
beverage.
It makes you immune to your allergies.
Oh, if that's the case, hand me a nutty pot because I need it.
Come down to TwoDEEP.
Yes.
You'll either start feeling better with the nutty pot, or you can just drink and
Or
forget
just
you're
drink
sick.
and then you'll feel better.
You
Yeah.
can pass out.
I know
fine.
I feel better.
You're going to
All
have
right,
people
well,
coming
we-
in saying,
I know. Well, can you
medical-
cure my ailment? Oh, crap.
Sorry, Brian, to trumpet.
We shall try.
Oh, goodness. Well, guys, we are coming towards the end of the show. We got about 5 to 7 minutes left. Andy, is there anything coming up here at TwoDEEP that you want to tell us about?
We've got a lot going on. I'm not sure if you guys mentioned, but we do have Pie Pizza coming on as our food partner here in the middle of November.
And you should come and eat it because it is amazing.
It's amazing.
Yes.
They are great at what they do. Their culinary wisdom is beyond whatever I can imagine. But in advance of that, we've got our Cheers for Charity event on November 5th.
I'm planning
so
to come to that one.
We will be doing a tailgate party out in the parking lot. So come decked out in whatever college gear you got. We'll have games on outside on some big screens and games to play and all kinds of fun stuff. And it's all benefiting Children's Neuroblastoma Cancer Foundation in conjunction with good family friend Ryan Deem, former Colts player, his charity that we'll be doing it with.
That's awesome.
Great. That's
Very
awesome.
cool.
Yeah.
Does my college apparel have to be from a college with a football team?
No, we'll
Yeah.
accept all.
They
Mine's,
used to have one, but it got cut.
mine's not.
Damn budgets.
Mine never
Little-
had one, so we never lost a game.
That's
Hey,
fair.
ooh.
Undefeated.
We were undefeated.
Undefeated.
We were
Nice.
undefeated in
Yeah.
like 5 years because they just got cut.
Well,
Buffalo
Andy,
can only handle one losing team at a time. I can
hey,
say that I'm from there.
They won this weekend.
Thank God.
Well, Andy, thank you very much for having us out. Thank you very much for sitting in with us. As always, the beer's amazing, and it's good to see you, brother.
Thank you guys. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank
Awesome.
you.
Thank you.
Woohoo.
Well, guys, it's getting to be about that time. I've still got a little bit of this lake left, and I'm gonna sip on it.
Yeah, my lake is gone. That thing got destroyed.
You gotta savor it.
I
man.
honestly,
Yes.
I
Oh,
finished
it's
the
hard.
lake so that I could just sit here and dwell on this.
On the smoke?
Yeah, the smoke.
The
yeah.
smoke's got you by the
It's got me.
heartstrings.
I'm into the darker stuff. So
I mean,
Right on.
looking back at everything, that red Sunday one,
Yeah.
It's
I'm gonna have to get me some of that to take home
it's
because
super
It was
approachable.
just
It's a good beer for any time.
Comforting.
You know? Yeah.
solid, comforting
Yeah,
beer.
solid. Well, does anybody have anything they want to talk about before we go?
Oh, I always have something to talk about.
Yes.
Hit me with it, Lola.
Do it.
So this weekend, if you're out and about in Indianapolis, definitely please try to come down to the Grove House between 4 and 7. It will be the inaugural event for Women of Indianapolis Arts. First event. It's by women, for women. We're going to have different artists, performances, tons of bands and music, and also speakers. And so the event is called Alice Through the Looking Glass Ceiling. You can find out some more information through Facebook.
You're speaking, right, in that one?
I am
Yeah.
actually speaking on. I'm actually hosting the event for the
Woo.
7 hours, and I'm also giving a speech on feminism and burlesque. And Angel Burlesque is also doing a special performance. It's family-friendly performance, so it is an all-ages event. It's only $7 donation to come in, and definitely check it out. And at the end of the month, if you don't have Halloween plans, come out to the 5th quarter on the 29th, I think is the last Saturday of the month. Angel Burlesque is putting on a very special Halloween show called Stranger Thongs.
Yes.
Nice.
interesting.
Can't
like-
wait to see the Demogorgon.
Oh, yeah.
That's great.
Oh, yeah. There's going to be a special appearance by the
Nice.
Demogorgon and some other characters from there. And we also have Count Rockula, the band, playing as well.
Right on.
So check that out. You can check out Angel Burlesque online at angelburlesque.com, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all of that fun stuff. So that's what I've got going on.
Very cool.
Nice. We've got a showcase over at Indie Pole Dance and Fitness at our West Side location, so it's both instructors and students. I, because of my complete lack of planning, will be freestyling my routine again, because God forbid I actually choreograph anything. But it's all Halloween themed, and our theme is Hollywood Nights. So you've got lots of movie themes. I personally am doing a minor key variation of Kiss the Girl from Little Mermaid, which is the creepiest song you've
heard
ever
that
heard.
version.
Chase
It's
Holzfelder, it's creepy as all heck
amazing.
and
It's
belongs
amazing.
nowhere near a Disney movie. But you got everything from
That's Disney for ya.
It's exactly.
Yeah.
It's every horrible thing you realize about like the original fairy tales.
Yep.
But that is going to be Saturday, October 22nd. I want to say we start at 8 p.m., but don't quote me on that. Check us out on Facebook to get the actual event information.
Where can we find that?
That's going to be on Facebook.
Well,
So Indie Pole Dance and Fitness
Indie
West.
Pole Dance and Fitness? Okay.
If you look at the Southside studio as well, it'll still have the information. We have 2 studios. So it's over at 6450 West 10th Street, just off of 465. And we're going to have a good time.
Right
We
on.
have a lot of students and instructors
Super
prepping.
fun.
Joe, anything you want to throw in? We've still got some of these T-shirts lying around, though.
I
Rub and
know.
buff.
I need that
you
in my
guys
life.
you need to grab a T-shirt. Yeah, they're
I
pretty
will
cool.
be.
So yeah, these are all these are some of the retro T-shirts that we have promoting some of our products at American Art Clay Company. These T-shirts are available at Brickyard Ceramics and Crafts here in Indianapolis, 6060 Guyan Road. There's actually, I want to remind people, I mentioned it earlier, there's a gallery opening November 4th. It is featuring organic imprint, so it's clay, art pieces that are basically made with clay, fired ceramic clay, with organic imprints. So I don't know what to expect. I mean, it could be human body parts, it could be wood, from oaken
Leaves.
barrels or something like that. I don't know, but anyway. So check that out. Again, check out these T-shirts. Grab one on your way out.
We better believe if we get one, we're taking pictures of.
Yeah.
Taking pictures of it because these sound fantastic.
Yeah.
Jordan, anything throw out there,
Yeah.
brother?
I mean, my big thing is just saying thanks to TwoDEEP and Andy and Lizzie here. I mean, great host. I like this place. This place is really cool.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You
so
need to come here after work more often.
Yeah, I feel even worse now that I have not been here yet. I work right down the street. Yeah, so I'll be back for sure. So looking forward to it.
Right on. Well, if you're not just down the street downtown, you can also find TwoDEEP's Meritzen Oktoberfest and their smoked porter up at the 86th Street Pub where I work. Don't have to come in when I'm working. Probably shouldn't. Everybody else that works there is way cooler than me. But come in, have a bite to eat, sit down, drink some good beer. And once again, Andy, thank you so much for having us.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you to
Thank you,
TwoDEEP.
thank you.
And hopefully we will be back soon. Once again, for Indie Brew Battle, I am Brian.
Jordan,
Lola.
Lindsay.
Joe.
And we will see you guys next time. Thank you very much.
there you go.